them, and Super Bowl 43 is history.
Welcome, Steeler Nation. We're coming to you live around the globe on a lot of different platforms, from Steeler.com, Steeler Nation Radio, Twitter, Facebook, the official app. So a lot of different platforms we're coming on for a special presentation that you will be the first to see. It's actually the Steelers 2019 Hall of Honor class. With me is Rooney II and one of the greatest safeties of all time, Donnie that we'll get to in a second. But to give you just a little bit of history of where we are and how this has evolved, we are at Latrobe, Pennsylvania, the 54th year. Yes, the 54th year. It's hard to say that. 54 years the Steelers have been coming here. And if you talk about the history of the Hall of Honor, the first inaugural season was 2017. There's 27 players. Donnie was a part of the inaugural group. Then 5 players in 2018. And we'll see how many in 2019. But here's what was interesting between 18 and 19 is that fans became a part of the process with voting. And that always leads me to look at the Steelers and how their reputation is with engaging the fan. If they are not the best, they're one of the best in the National Football League of doing that, engaging the fans, based on all these platforms too that we're sharing with you to give you the first look at it. Now, to give you a little bit about the player and its enshrinement, there will be a bust that will be on display at the FedEx Hall at Heinz Field year-round. But I think the unique thing that the player gets is this still football. Now, this is one of the heaviest awards I've ever seen in my life, but it is a special, unique gift that the player actually receives. And it gives me a chance really to bring Rooney II and Donnie in here, because I want to talk about the kind of the history, or what this award is modeled after. It was an award given to your grandfather, but what was it given to him for? It was given to him as a gift, but what was the gift for, Art?
Yeah, Merril, it was in honor of our 50th season. So it was back in 1982, and the United States Steel Corporation and the United Steelworkers of America came together, and they wanted to, nobody had ever created a solid steel football before, and so they thought it was time to do that, and they gave it to my grandfather in honor of the 50th season of the Steelers. So he loved it. He kept it in his office the rest of his life, and so we thought it was a great sort of memento to give to the players who are become members of the Hall of Honor. They get a, not quite as heavy, but they get a replica of it.
Okay, well that was interesting, because I was like, I know that art is about detail, and when he said, you know, the weight of it, a solid steel football, how much does this football weigh roughly? I guessed 40 pounds.
You know, it's 25 or 30 pounds, I think. It's a solid piece of steel, yeah. So don't drop it on your toe.
I'll tell you, it is. I mean, it is legit, and it is. I mean, I think it is so unique and special. Donnie, you were the first group of inductees in 2017. Walk us through what the call was like when they called you.
Well, I got a call from Lynn Mullino and said you're part of the initial class of the Hall of Honor. I was kind of taken aback, didn't know what to think, and kind of got choked up about it because of the recognition that the Steelers bestowed upon me. It's very humbling. You think of all the good players and great players that's come through the Steel organization, and I was one of them to be honored.
Now, you experienced that week, and I was there, but was there something that stood out with you that you have not forgotten about that week from the 2 days that you were a part of that?
It's always the fellowship and the relationship with the former players in the organization when I come back, and the fans. It's very special. Every time I come back to Pittsburgh and go through the airport, I rarely get recognized down south, but hey, Donnie, how you doing? What's going on? Appreciate your playing days, and I really appreciate the passion that Steel Nation have in Pittsburgh.
Well, obviously one of the greatest, not just in Steeler history, but NFL history. So the reason we're doing this is because it's really given our fans a special look and the first look. So let's welcome some of your fellow teammates by leading to this video that will show who the 2019 class will be.
No team in football has forged a greater history than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no team has been comprised of more legendary individuals. In 2017, to pay tribute to their past greats, the Steelers unveiled a Hall of Honor in the FedEx Great Hall at Heinz Field. The hall currently honors 32 Steelers legends. For players to be considered for induction, they must have played for the Steelers a minimum of 3 seasons, compiled noteworthy career highlights, records, or achievements, and be retired for at least 3 seasons. Coaches and administrators are considered based on significant contributions to the team and community. Using these same guidelines, the committee has now determined its 2019 inductees. This year's class includes tight end L.B. Nickel. After serving his country in World War II, Nickel was drafted by the Steelers. The 3-time Pro Bowler scored 37 touchdowns and racked up over 5,000 yards receiving across his 11-year career. His 329 receptions was a Steelers record for tight ends that would last for over 5 decades. Also being inducted this year is a tight end